So we still have gaps in our knowledge about what autism is. I'm joined by Damien, and Damien's going to give us his views on where the gaps are in terms of our knowledge about autism and how we might go about filling some of those gaps. Damien, for you, what are the key gaps in terms of our knowledge around autism?
Well, I think there are huge gaps across the board, really, in autism knowledge and the research that's needed. As you saw with earlier clips and so on, with the history of autism, the ideas about it have been constantly changing, and it's changing still. And the more we've looked into neurology, genetics, and people's experiences, the more diverse and complex it becomes. So there's no simple cause of autism as there might be for other disabilities. And so understanding the biology of autism still has a very long way to go about the human brain generally. In terms of gaps, though, the majority of research in the field has been in genetics, neuroimaging, and on causation. And there's been a real dearth of funding and large-scale research into social factors, what makes good service provision, how to reduce stigma for autistic people socially. Some of those sociological points, there's real gaps there. Recently there was a study done looking at the top 10 priorities for research in the field and asking parents, people on the spectrum, researchers and so on. And most of them were pretty basic, general, fundamental issues we still don't know enough about. Number one on that list was what factors influence mental health, for good or worse. And that's pretty fundamental questions like that. We still don't have enough information on. So, although there's been a lot of work and it's ever increasing, there's still a long way to go before we have a better understanding, I think.
How do you think we need to go about filling some of our knowledge gaps?
Well, in the much more research in the social educational areas, but also the participation and input of autistic people themselves. As more people have become recognised as on the autism spectrum, there's more people like myself who are researchers on the spectrum interested in autism and so on. And that autistic voice and subjectivity and experiential side, and bringing that into it has already changed the field, but I think will change it more so into the future. However, that brings up another issue of how do you gain access to the subjectivities of less verbal people. And I think we're always going to struggle in that regard, but by working together, people like myself, experienced practitioners and parents and so on, we can get closer to it, I hope, anyway, and a better understanding. Because I think we have substantially moved on from even 5-10 years ago. So it's a constantly changing field.
Okay. Damien, thank you very much. So we've heard from Damien about what some of our key gaps are in our knowledge, and it seems that there is much that we need to learn about autism, and that one of the more positive things that has happened in more recent years has been the emergence of the autistic voice and the involvement of people who are autistic in shaping the field of autism.